Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're here for the Silverchair Universe presents Brightcove. We do have with us today Becca Mora, who's going to lead us through some of Brightcove's offerings and give a demo of some of their products. A few housekeeping things before we get started. You've all been muted, so if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please type them into the chat box, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded, so you'll receive a link to the recording afterwards. We'll also post that on our website in case you'd like to share that with anyone. Finally, when the webinar is concluded, you'll receive a brief survey. We appreciate if you could take a minute and complete that. It does help us to improve both the Universe offerings as well as the webinar series. And so with that, I will hand it over to Becca.
Thanks, Stephanie. All right, so everybody should be on my screen right now. Thank you so much for having me and having Brightcove come talk to you guys. And Stephanie, thanks for organizing. We're definitely excited to work with or to talk to everybody else at Silverchair. As a high-level agenda, I'm going to go over a quick background just on Brightcove, who we are and what we do, and then transition into a demo of Brightcove, all the different product offerings that we have, the core functionality that a lot of Silverchair clients are leveraging today, as well as some additional features that you guys may not be aware of that you can take advantage of, and then leaving time at the end for Q&A. So pretty quick and straightforward. For those of you who don't know who Brightcove is an online video platform. So we help power and deliver video content for thousands of brands across the globe. We were founded in 2004 with this idea that video would one day be as ubiquitous as text on the web. Back then, it was really hard to just get a video onto a website, and so we were really the solution, the only solution at the time that was in place for that. Obviously, times have changed. Video is, it's everywhere. It's all over websites. It's pretty straightforward to just get a straightforward video online. But there's really a lot more that people are looking to do with video, and in today's ecosystem, it's solving a lot more problems than it ever has in the past. So Brightcove, just to give you some idea of scalability, we've powered 23 billion video views this year already. That's 1.4 billion hours of video content that Brightcove is powering, so pretty significant there. And we've been a leader in the space for several years now. In different kind of market industry, things like that. So we're the leader in the space. We're happy to be here. We help all different kinds of brands, small, large, across all different industries, and just powering video content, delivering video content, and taking it above and beyond what a simple video player can do. So with that, like I said, video is a lot more than just putting one single standalone video onto a website. And really the core functionality of Brightcove is that we want to make it seamless and easy for you to publish your video content and get it across all devices anywhere that any of your audience is watching it. So you can upload a video once and with one click publish it to desktop, your .com properties, also to an app, to iPhones, tablets, even TV devices. So we can really do all of it and do it well, which is really at the core. And with that, the way we really help brands is powering video across all different use cases. So there's we work with several clients on internal video content, which, it can be highly secure, internal sort of live town halls, maybe training and onboarding. Some of that might resonate a little bit with some of the audience here today. And that's, and just general knowledge sharing. So internally at Brightcove, our CEO comes once a month or so, does a video of just what's going on at the company. He has, a guest speaker from some different team within our company that's shared on our internal behind single sign-on that we can watch. So it's a quick email, videos there, and everybody internally can hear that. And it's a seamless and quick way to communicate across the entire team here. And then on the external side is really any type of video you could imagine that you come across for any brand. So often it's used for recruiting videos, culture, what it's like to work at Brightcove, that kind of stuff, marketing content, which is pretty standard top of funnel, into customer service, kind of customer support video, how-to video content, all that kind of stuff. And then sort of the crossover is really where there's some sales or partner training and client training and sort of video behind a paywall or something like that for specific clients, things like that. And really, I think the important takeaway on this slide is just that video is used everywhere across an entire organization in any number of different ways, and we have solutions to power and help with all of that. So with that, I want to move into just a couple of use cases that might be relevant, at least to some of the people here. So first, Kaplan Test Prep is a leader in test prep for any number of different tests and things like that. So Kaplan's been a customer with Brightcove for quite a while now, and we've helped them really transform their entire digital strategy to a focus on video. The why behind it for Kaplan is really that they needed a way to reach new audiences, and they need to do it well, and they need video to work all the time. So we've done kind of a ton of different unique stuff with Kaplan. One thing that they do a lot is live streaming. So they'll have a live kind of course going on where they'll record, play it back live for audiences. So you no longer have to go to a physical location. You can log in live during a course and kind of have that live sort of face-to-face interaction, which is more engaging for the viewer, and then also allows Kaplan, because they're just doing it via video, they can reach a lot more people than they have before. They're also leveraging our partner ecosystem, which I can get to in a little bit. As I'm sure a lot of people here could imagine, there's a lot of needs and requirements around closed captioning and accessibility, especially in e-learning use cases. So they've leveraged our partner resources to make sure that all of their content is accessible for whoever needs it in whatever capacity that we can. And then lastly, they've leveraged our analytics quite a bit, which I'll talk to again later on with another customer. But with Brightcove, one powerhouse that we have is our analytics, where you can start getting really detailed about how your videos are performing and use that to drive your video strategy onwards. So there's some kind of interesting stories there, but it's kind of a good point about what Kaplan's used to help drive their digital strategy and their content strategy over the past several years working with Brightcove. The next example that I have is Math Tutor DVD. So, you know, a few years ago, Math Tutor DVD was exactly what it sounded like, sending out CDs or DVDs with different math lessons. And they needed to move to a subscription-based model with video. And so they turned to Brightcove to help power that. And it's offered behind a paywall for them. They have apps that we've helped them create, and they're using our social module to deliver content to social networks, social channels. And with that, they've been able to drive significant increases in memberships and on-site engagement. And that's actually led to a 50% increase in revenue. So Math Tutor DVD has a bunch of different courses on different topics around math that any of their users can log in. You can subscribe on a monthly subscription or do, I think it's just like one course that you can buy at a time. And so they've been able to actually use video to drive revenue in ways that they were never able to do in the past. And then my last example here for you guys is the CFA Institute. And they really wanted to shift their entire marketing strategy to be more about brand awareness, where they originally had a bunch of different content around I think it was like finance tests and things like that, and it was just content around taking these exams that the CFA Institute had. And they wanted to shift it to make themselves more of a leader or a thought leader in the space. So they had content just around the industry, things like that, to help drive more brand awareness. And what they did is they actually also have used our analytics to identify what content was engaging and help drive their video strategy. And so they found specific types of content were popular in specific locations, and they have actually since then created a localized strategy where they create specific content for specific markets, because that's the type of content that's important in those areas. So it's kind of just an interesting way to look at analytics and use that. And it's helped help them drive significantly more engagement on their site and with their brand. And then lastly with them, they are also doing a bit of live streaming, which we'll talk about a little bit in their demo today, but they're live streaming things like meetings and conferences so that they can reach, again, a larger audience with something that previously people would have had to travel to attend. And then are publishing clips from that to social networks to help drive more engagement and more interest in future events that they may be hosting. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn to a quick demo of Brightcove. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with it, but at a high level, the way Brightcove works is you log in and you have your home page here. So this is the studio where you can actually come in and manage all of your video content that you own. These orange tabs here on the left within the home screen are the core Brightcove functionality. That's basic, straightforward uploading and publishing your content and then tracking analytics. And then over here on the right in blue letters are some of the more advanced features that we've added over the past couple of years that can help really take your video to the next level. So I'm going to go through the core functionality, and Silverchair clients should all have access to this stuff today. And then we can talk about some other things that you can do that's maybe a little bit more unique that you may be able to take advantage of in the future. So uploading content at its core, very straightforward. What we do once you upload videos is we actually create a bunch of different renditions of that video for you. So you're uploading one video, we take it and turn it into a bunch of different versions so that your end users are able to get the best quality video depending on their internet speed or wherever else they are. So once it's uploaded, we create it, we ingest it for you so you don't have to worry about that. And then our player technology is able to automatically check what internet bandwidth speed or device your end user is on so that we're always serving them the best rendition. And I think it rechecks everything every like 5 to 7 seconds or something. So it's checking on the fly to make sure that your end user is getting the best video experience without any sort of buffering. Once you have your content uploaded, you're going to move into the media module, which is really where you can manage all of that content. So in here you have all of your video content stored. You can organize content into things like folders or playlists. So folders here are for internal organization within the studio, and then playlists are for externally publishing a group of videos. So something you guys may be doing is maybe organizing content by lessons, for example, or topics or something like that, or maybe by universities who are owning that content, something like that. So you can really manage where all of it lives within here. And then within each video file, once you click in, is where you can look at all of the metadata associated with that video. A few things I want to just point out here. One straightforward is that you can always edit the poster and thumbnail images. So it's easy to just scrub through, take a clip from anywhere within the video and make that your new thumbnail image. We do it on the slide for you. You can also upload your own custom images. So if you have kind of a header image you want to set up there, it's really easy and straightforward to do. A couple other quick just workflow things to make your lives a little bit easier. You can always replace the source file. So if you have a quick edit that you make, maybe you had a video that was up for a year or so, something changes and you make one quick change to that video, you can use this replace source file button to just automatically update it, and anywhere that video is published, the new version is going to replace it automatically. That can help save you all a lot of time, and just something that we've gotten a lot of feedback as being really helpful. Custom fields is if you have any sort of metadata things around the video that you want to have that's not specifically called out up here. So maybe you want to include something like lesson plan or topic or something like that. You can always create custom fields and have those live with videos as well. And then the last thing I just want to call out is text tracks. So this is where you can really do a lot with captions, which I know is really important to you guys. We have a handful of different partners who can do things like automated captions. So if you upload a video, you can automatically push it out to one of our partners. They're automatically going to add all of those captions for you to that video file, which can help, again, save you all a lot of time. And we can actually support interactive transcripts as well. So a quick example of that is we have it all over all of our support documentation. And I can send this link out as well. So if you hit play here, there's an interactive transcript. and you can click to specific parts within the transcript to jump to that part of the video. So a couple cool little things that we can do with a little bit of work with our partner team to make happen for you all that can be kind of exciting that you may not have been quite aware of. Another piece I just want to call out under captions is chapters. So sometimes with longer form content, you can add things like little bits of interactivity. Adding chapters to a file can be a really straightforward way to help increase engagement and make sure that your viewers are just able to watch the pieces of your videos that they're most interested in. So that's easily done with the WebVTT file. There's a few other ways to go about it, but this is one that's out of the box that you guys can all do and use today within Brightcove. So that's pretty much it around managing your video files themselves. Once you have that video, it's uploaded, you have all of the data associated with it out there, is when you're going to publish that video to a player. So our players are HTML5 players. They are responsive out of the box. It's very straightforward to do, to create new players and to customize them. So if I have new demo player 4, save that, and this is what it's going to look like. So it's a pretty straightforward styling tool. There's things like colors, how it looks if you want playlists, things like that you can do here. There's a bunch that you can do with the player because it's built in HTML5. It's based off of an open source player, so you can easily add in plugins, things like that. There's a whole open source library of any number of different things that you could use to customize or brand a player. But plugins are just a cool way to get your player talking to some other system. And there's bunches of things that you can do, but that's where you can have the player talk to a captioning service like I had mentioned before, or maybe have it talk to some sort of marketing tool to pull analytics data from the player into Google Analytics, something like that. So those are all things that you can have live at the player level so that the player, any data carried with the player can go to any other system for you. So pretty cool stuff. You can have things like a custom end screen. So if you want to make, maybe you want to have a little blurb at the end of your video, at the end of a whole bunch of different videos, you can do that at the player level just within player end screens. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff here, but don't want to go too far in depth. If there's questions, of course, we can always answer them after the fact, after the webinar today. So once you have your video uploaded, your player's been created, you can publish that video. So I'll jump quickly back into the media module here. Once it loads, publish. So you can publish to a web player, and this is where you're going to get a standard embed code that you can use on any of your websites. You can also publish to an email landing page, and what this does is it actually gives you a quick thumbnail of the video. You can just copy it and then paste it into an email browser, and it'll send out that thumbnail for somebody to click on and land them onto a quick landing page, which is maybe not necessarily the prettiest landing page, but can be customized and is a really easy way to share out video in email, where before it was kind of, you had to figure out how to get to thumbnail, figure out how to make the thumbnail click to a specific page, but it's a whole lot easier now. So those are all that's pretty much it when it comes to uploading and publishing your video content. The last piece I want to get into is analytics, because I think this is a part where you can really drive or use Brightcove to help drive some of your new video content strategies. So video is an expensive thing to be creating, and you want to make sure that your video content is working the way you want it to. So with that, you can really leverage the Brightcove analytics to see how your videos are performing, where they're performing well, where maybe they aren't performing as well, and then make your content strategy around that. So the CFA Institute example I talked about, where they were able to look at our analytics and see that videos were performing well in a specific location. They found that in some areas, certain parts of the video were successfully watched, and they found out that drop-off rates were happening at specific times throughout videos. So what they did is actually shortened video content into different clips around the specific topics, and then sent them out into those specific locations. And with that, they increased their video engagement significantly, because they were then creating the content that their audiences actually wanted to see, not creating a whole huge video and nobody's actually watching it all the way through. It also helped them repurpose the video content, so taking one large video, turning it into a few different clips, and then publishing it out separately. So their library then is increasing, they're getting higher engagement, people are being more engaged with their brand, and they're now really thought as the thought leaders that people go to learn about these finance tests that they're giving out. So to give you guys a quick idea of what some of the analytics that we have look like, my test account doesn't have a ton of data yet, but you can really look at how your videos are performing on different devices, which websites they're performing well on. Source of traffic is important, so how people are actually accessing your video content, and then country down to city, things like that. The other piece is engagement, and this is where you can see drop-off rates. So you can click on a specific video, here we go, and see at what point are people dropping off your video. So, you know, this is a quick video, but people are dropping off 20 seconds in, so maybe there's something happening at the 20-second mark that's not very interesting anymore. And that's, again, back to where you can start driving some of your content creation strategies. So with that, that all is the core Brightcove functionality. I'm hoping that some of you guys maybe learned a little bit, maybe you didn't know about what you could do with that today. And then some cool kind of more advanced features that we have are over here on this blue side that I'm going to move into now. So the first thing I want to talk about is Brightcove Gallery. So Gallery is a video experience builder. It's a templated approach where you can create different experiences around video, and that can expand from an entire video portal page for huge libraries of content that you want to all have a home base to live inside of, to a smaller grouping of videos that you want to embed inside of an existing page, maybe for 4 to 6 videos, something like that. So we have a bunch of different portals. All different templates are kind of based on, you know, they're all designed differently. Some are better for smaller videos of libraries, some are better for larger libraries of video. And it's a really straightforward WYSIWYG editor where you can customize and brand these pages so they look like they're on brand, they're part of your website, but they're really easy and straightforward to make inside of Brightcove. So you don't have to rely on dev resources to get the pages updated. Every time you have a new video, you can automatically publish to this page, so you don't have to be sharing embed codes all around everywhere. Everything's done pretty much automatically once you have the page up and running. A few examples, just to show you guys what some of these look like, is Home Depot, who has a full how-to portal of all of their video content. So this page is built with Brightcove Gallery. They have a whole bunch of different how-to videos spanning all different home improvement projects, things like that. And this entire page is actually built and hosted by and living inside of Brightcove Gallery. They added their headers and footers, so those are always staying up to date with what else is going on at Home Depot. And then new videos are automatically added into this page as soon as they're uploaded. Another example is Frontier, and I just like to show these two side by side because they're actually leveraging the same template, but they look totally separate because they're completely separate pages. So they both took the same template, branded them separately for each brand specifically, and then are able to, again, automatically share out that content in kind of a cohesive brand experience within the rest of their website. The other part of Gallery that I had mentioned before is our in-page experiences. And so this is a newer piece of Brightcove that we launched in the past year or so. And this really takes that idea of an entire portal of video content, slims down into smaller groups that you can publish inside of an existing page in kind of these beautiful experiences. Again, you don't have to rely on dev resources. You add the videos to these experiences, and then you get an embed code like you would with a standard video that you can drop inside of any page. So with these, we actually have this idea of a pre, during, and post kind of watch experience. So once you have an in-page experience up, there's the experience of what does it look like before somebody actually hits play on a video. So in this example, there's these arrows. These are all the options and the videos that are there. But maybe you want the carousel to be a little bit smaller and more of a sliding through. Those are all things that you can control before the video is actually being watched. When somebody hits play on a video, what happens? So in this case, it just plays back right there, but maybe you want it to pop up in a white box, if the video player itself is a little bit smaller on the page, things like that. And then while it's actually playing within page, you can add little bits of interactivity. So if you saw that button up there that just disappeared, that's something that you can add within the tool out of the box. So you can start adding clickable buttons, things like that, maybe a slide out card, maybe you want to direct somebody to some other page, calls to action, really helping take your video to the next level and getting more engagement out of a single standalone video. And then there's the experience after the video ends. So in this case, it just jumps to the next video in the sequence, but left it on the play button. Maybe you want it to automatically play the next video, so you have a sequence of learning videos that you want to play the first one, it ends, you want to do a quick countdown timer and automatically start the next video. You're increasing engagement again, you're getting more from your viewers, and they're being able to not leave the experience that they're in while still watching all of that content. So I'm not going to dive into how these pages are built right now, but it's pretty basic. Again, it's kind of a drag and drop. You select the videos you want to go in there, you select the color schemes that you want to use, and add in some of those clickable options, and then you just get the embed code that you can publish. And because all of this is built within Brightcove, you can drop the embed code in, change the, on the in-page example, change the videos that are in there, and wherever it's published, it'll still work because that code is already there and that experience is already on your page. The next piece I wanted to talk about is Brightcove Social. So this was mentioned in a couple of the examples that I spoke about earlier, but with Brightcove Social, what you're able to do is actually publish video content out to your social networks directly from within Brightcove. So if right now you have a social team who's going into all these different social pages directly, they're uploading videos into Brightcove and then onto YouTube, you can streamline that entire workflow from just uploading into Brightcove directly, tagging something with YouTube, and it'll automatically show up on your YouTube page with the metadata that you've already uploaded into Brightcove. Once it's there, you can actually track some of the analytics too. So again, we're going back to seeing how your videos are performing in different places, which can help drive your strategy in terms of what video content you're showing where. So you can start seeing what your top videos are and what channels, and how a specific video is performing across all of your websites and your social channels. And so with that, you can say, you know, smaller, shorter videos work better on Facebook, a longer video works better on YouTube. Maybe you're going to take one video, create a few different clips of it that you're publishing to different channels, depending on the length that works on those specific channels, having all of them direct back to your website, and then coming here to see how the video is performing. Are people watching the whole thing on Facebook but not on YouTube? Are they watching the whole video on YouTube, then going back to your website? Things like that. So you're really able to start tracking better and see and learn about how people are interacting with your brand, not just on your website anymore, but also in some of your social pages. And then the last piece that I wanted to mention today is live streaming. So we talked about it a little bit, but with Brightcove Live, you can easily manage live events. So if you have lessons that you want to live stream to a broad audience, or meetings or annual conferences, anything like that, we can help power all of those sort of live experiences for you. And with our gallery product, you can actually have a homepage for those live streams to live. So I'm not going to go into the details, but basically if you have an encoder that outputs an RTMP feed, we can take that and then publish it out through a Brightcove player that you embed on any other page like you would. And it's pretty straightforward, it's really easy to use, and it's actually recently updated, so it's brand new and really quite seamless. So those are really the biggest pieces that I wanted to touch on that you guys may not have today, but might be interesting, especially as video strategies are continuing to grow and expand. things that we're happy to talk about, and we're happy to talk with the Silverchair teams about as well, but all things that we think could be valuable. The last piece here is our audience tool, and what this is, I didn't want to touch on it too much, but basically it allows you to get into user-specific tracking, integrating with marketing automation tools like Marketo, Eloqua, or HubSpot. So if anyone's using any of those, we have integrations that we can go more in depth in at another time. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it back here, unless there are any questions that I have.
Yes, thank you so much, Becca. That was wonderful, very helpful. We did get one question that's a great one, which is, how does publishing a video fit into the zipline ingest, validation, publish, downstream workflow? And so the answer to that is that because the videos are actually hosted by and on Brightcove, you won't be uploading any videos directly into zipline. Instead, you'll have an embed code, you'll have the video ID that you'll just put into your XML in the media element. It's actually, I can send out a link to this afterwards, but in the journal spec, it's item 9.7.1. There's a section on Brightcove that tells you exactly what tagging it needs, but basically you just would put the video reference ID as part of your XML, and it would embed it automatically. So hopefully that answers that question. If there are any other questions, please feel free to type those into the chat box.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one other thing to mention is that each module kind of that I went through in Brightcove is all based on APIs. So if there's other systems or tools that you guys are using, we do have the capability of integrating anything, whether it's uploading or publishing or managing content, integrating into any other systems with all of those APIs. So
that's great. Yeah, that's very helpful. And like Becca mentioned, a lot of this that she showed at the beginning is already included as part of what all our publishers get on the platform. There are a couple things like live that are sort of add-ons, but there's a lot of this that you already have access to. So we do encourage you to reach out to your PDMs and kind of explore how you can use that on your own sites now. I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment. We'll give it just one more minute.
Great.
And Becca, I know that they can reach out to their Silverchair account managers. As far as Brightcove, should they reach out directly to you if they have follow-up questions?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Sure. So if there are any follow-up questions, I know, Stephanie, you have my information, but I can send it along as well. Happy to answer questions and make sure that anyone is off to a right start with Brightcove and Silverchair.
Wonderful. All right, well, thanks so much. We can send some of that info out to everyone along with the recording. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you do want to follow up, like we said, either get in touch with Becca or with your PDM. Our next Silverchair Universe webinar is going to be with Meta on Wednesday, October 10th. So keep an eye out for that if you'd like to register. And otherwise, we thank you again for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Becca.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.